Have you ever thought about who the most terrifying Death Eaters in Harry Potter really were? What if some of them were even more ruthless than Voldemort himself? In today's video, you will find out the darkest secrets of the most notorious Death Eaters and how they left their mark on the wizarding world. Many witches and wizards followed the Dark Lord when he declared war on Muggle-borns and those who opposed him. The most loyal, powerful, and cunning among them received his mark and became Death Eaters. The first of their kind emerged from Slytherin students who studied alongside Tom Riddle. Later, others joined their ranks, drawn by power, fear, or a twisted sense of loyalty. Some of these dark wizards committed acts so monstrous that they surpassed even their master in cruelty and madness. Today we will dive into the chilling stories of the most infamous Death Eaters.
Avada Kedavra, the Lestranges.
Bellatrix Lestrange, her brother-in-law Rabastan, and her husband Rodolphus were among Voldemort's most devoted followers. Bellatrix, the most fanatical of them all, remained loyal even in Azkaban, where she lost her mind in captivity. When she escaped, she became the Dark Lord's most trusted warrior and fought for him until her last breath. Rodolphus Lestrange, Bellatrix's husband, took part in the brutal torture of the Longbottoms after Voldemort's downfall. He was one of the few Death Eaters who survived the Battle of Hogwarts and later sought out the Dark Lord's daughter, revealing a prophecy that could bring him back. Rabastan Lestrange, Rodolphus's brother, was just as ruthless. He played a key role in Death Eater operations but met a humiliating defeat at the hands of Ginny Weasley during the battle in the Department of Mysteries.
Igor Karkaroff.
Once a devoted Death Eater during the First Wizarding War, Karkaroff betrayed his comrades to escape Azkaban. He exposed many of them, earning temporary freedom, and later became headmaster of Durmstrang, where dark arts were openly practiced. But when Voldemort returned, Karkaroff fled. The Death Eaters found him. They made sure his betrayal would not go unpunished.
Augustus Rookwood.
One of the Death Eaters Karkaroff exposed, Rookwood was a master spy, secretly working within the Ministry of Magic. Unlike the more flamboyant killers, he was a ghost in the system, manipulating events from the shadows. He played a key role in the battle inside the Department of Mysteries. Even Kingsley Shacklebolt couldn't defeat him. During the final battle, Rookwood struck a fatal blow, killing Fred Weasley after taking down his brother Percy. Barty Crouch Jr., a prodigy in magic, Crouch Jr. had a bright future until he turned to Voldemort. His loyalty was unmatched. He betrayed his own father, escaped from Azkaban, and orchestrated one of the most brilliant infiltrations in wizarding history. He single-handedly overpowered the legendary Auror Mad-Eye Moody and manipulated the Triwizard Tournament to bring back his master. He was also one of the rare few who could resist the Imperious Curse. Lucius Malfoy. A wealthy aristocrat and influential figure in the wizarding world, Malfoy was among Voldemort's earliest followers. He secretly planted a Horcrux on Ginny Weasley, setting dark events in motion. But after failing the Dark Lord in the Department of Mysteries, his status crumbled. No longer a trusted lieutenant, he was humiliated, demoted, and forced into disgrace. In the end, he abandoned the Death Eaters, realizing there was no future for his family in their ranks.
Antonin Dolohov.
One of the deadliest Death Eaters, Dolohov was Voldemort's personal executioner. A master of combat magic, he blended raw power with brutal efficiency. Even Bellatrix and Snape struggled to match his skill in battle. Ruthless, relentless, and feared by even his allies, Dolohov was a weapon Voldemort wielded when he wanted destruction without mercy. Corbin Yaxley. A pure-blood wizard from an ancient line, Yaxley was a key figure in Voldemort's takeover of the Ministry. He manipulated events to install Pius Thickness as Minister for Magic, securing Death Eater control over the wizarding government. A master of dark politics, he shaped laws that stripped Muggleborns of their rights and fueled the reign of terror. Severus Snape. Straight out of Hogwarts, Snape swore allegiance to Voldemort. Perhaps at first he truly believed in his master's cause. As a student he had been lonely, ridiculed, yet brilliant. The Dark Lord saw his potential, but Snape made one fatal mistake. He told Voldemort about a prophecy that led to the murder of Lily Potter, the woman he loved. After that, Snape became a double agent. To Voldemort, he was a trusted informant at Hogwarts. But in reality, he served Dumbledore, waiting for the day he could atone for his past sins. These were the most notorious Death Eaters, each playing their part in the Dark Lord's reign. Some thrived in chaos, others met tragic ends, but their stories remain among the darkest pages of wizarding history. The Second Wizarding War ended, but darkness never truly fades. Voldemort was gone, but his shadow lingered. The Ministry of Magic worked to erase his mark, but some wounds don't heal. Fear, hatred, and the thirst for power, these things don't disappear overnight, and some still whispered his name. Draco Malfoy never wanted to be a Death Eater. He was born into it. Raised in a world where blood purity was law, he absorbed his father's beliefs without question. But the war changed him. After Voldemort's fall, Draco stepped away from the ideology that had defined his family. And yet, his past haunted him. "My father's dead," he once told Scorpius, his son, "but I can't change the blood in my veins." He tried to break the cycle. He sent Scorpius to Hogwarts with no expectations, no burdens, but whispers followed them. The Malfoy name still carried weight. Not all Death Eaters were as willing to leave the past behind. Theodore Nott, son of a devoted follower, never renounced his father's beliefs. Intelligent, skilled, and quiet, he avoided Azkaban after the war, but his mind never let go of the old ways. Years later, it was Nott who crafted the Time Turner used in the events of The Cursed Child, a device that could reshape history, bring back the fallen. A coincidence? Or the first step in rewriting the war? Blood supremacy didn't die with Voldemort. It simply changed shape. The Sacred 28, Britain's purest wizarding families, continued to exist. They no longer openly supported Dark Lords, but their influence remained. Some worked in the shadows, ensuring that purebloods held power where it mattered. Their children still received the best education, married within their own kind, and whispered about the past in safe company. Astoria Greengrass, Draco's wife, was one of the few who saw the truth. She despised the old ways, but in wizarding society, change came slow. When she refused to raise Scorpius to believe in blood purity, she faced quiet resistance. "They look at me like I'm an experiment gone wrong," she once admitted. The old families never forgot. And then there were those who still carried Voldemort's message forward. Delphine, the Dark Lord's daughter, was proof of that. Raised in secret, she grew up idolizing a man she never met. She believed she was meant to finish what he started, to undo his greatest failure. And she wasn't alone. How many others like her existed? How many children of Death Eaters still held onto their parents' beliefs, waiting for a chance to rise? The Ministry of Magic purged its ranks, but corruption is a hard thing to kill. Men like Corbin Yaxley had spent years embedding themselves in power. Many of his allies never faced trial. How many laws passed in secret still reflected their influence? How many sympathizers sat quietly in the Wizengamot, waiting for the right moment? Even Hogwarts wasn't free from the past. The Slytherin house changed, but its legacy remained. Generations of young wizards had been raised on stories of its greatness, its cunning, its ambition. And not all of them saw Voldemort's fall as a defeat. Some saw it as a lesson. "We went too fast," a young Slytherin once murmured to his friend. Next time, we'll do it smarter. The wizarding world moved on, but darkness is patient. It waits, it learns. Voldemort wanted to rule through terror. His followers dreamed of power. But the next Dark Lord, he or she will be different, wiser, more careful, less reckless. And when they come, they will find that the seeds of Voldemort's legacy never truly stopped growing.